Lamborghini prices are climbing and the gains might even rival Ferrari prices. Could the Lamborghini market be outpacing the Ferrari market? Let's find out.
First, we have a detailed look at the price trends for various Lamborghini models, and then we dive into the comparison to the Ferraris.
We start with the oldest Gallardos. Over here we have the price trend for the base model and the Superleggeras. Only the automatics are included and special editions are excluded. This will, by the way, apply for all the cars in the video. We can see that prices for the base models decreased slightly during last year. Compared to August 24, they decreased by 5.2%. This means that the median price is now roughly $105,000. The price trend for the Superleggeras has a high uncertainty. Only a handful of cars are for sale at a given moment, and some of them even have been for sale for a while. Latest pricing sits at $155,000, 20% higher than last year. But I believe that the uncertainty is high in this number and that it's too high for it to be usable. Looking at the auction results gathered by Classic.com, for example, we can see that the latest one went for $157,000. This is perhaps slightly higher than we observed last year, but 20% seems a stretch. Moving on to the 560s, we can see that the price trend is slightly stronger than in the 500 market. Prices changed by 0.8% during last year, so it's fair to assume that the median prices were flat. Yet, it's especially the market bottom that increased. 1 year ago you could find examples for $100,000 to $120,000. That will prove to be difficult in today's market.
The LP570 market is unfortunately too small to return reliable price trends. There are usually only 1 or 2 cars for sale. The Huracan market is a lot larger and offers a lot more in terms of price trends.
Starting with the LP580-2 and LP610-4, we can see that the price trends have a high correlation to the market trend. Prices increased during the pandemic, topped in the second half of 22, declined, and recently increased slightly. This means that the year-over-year price change sits at minus 0.1% for the LP580 and plus 0.2% for the LP610. Of course, these changes aren't statistically confirmed, so it's fair to assume that prices were stable. Switching things to the Evo and Evo rear-wheel drive version, we can see a similar pattern. Look at that. Prices strengthened during the last quarters. Compared to last year, Evos are down by 0.2% and Evo RWDs by 0.4%. So similar to the LP580 and LP610, prices didn't change. This is thanks to the increase in price strength that we saw recently. Now this of course contributes to keeping the total cost of ownership low, as you didn't lose anything to depreciation.
Another way to keep the total cost low is to protect your car from accidental damage, such as scratches on your front bumper caused by speed bumps and windshield cracks caused by rocks. To protect your car from these dangers, you can install the latest in skid plate and windshield protection film technology from Exclusive Motorworks.
Their Automat skid plates are the thinnest on the market, are custom fitted by using 3D laser scanning technology and require no drilling, screws or rivets to attach. The windshield skin keeps your windshield safe from things like cracks and chips, preventing costly replacements. Moreover, you can install the windshield skin yourself without professional help. You can order skid plate kits and windshield skin kits for your car at exclusivemotorworks.com.
4 Huracan models remain: the Tecnica, Starato, STO and Performante. Let's have a look at the price trends.
The differences are enormous. STOs have been falling rapidly in 2023 but now found their feet. Prices sit around $390,000 to $400,000 and this is 2.9% higher than last year. The Technicas are still depreciating, but they are doing so at a low rate. Last year they lost 1.5%. With a median price of $320,000, they are priced extremely close to the Staratos and Performantes. The Starato market was basically in a free fall during 2024.
Please comment down below if you know more about this.
Prices are now finally flattening, but the yearly depreciation rate is still high at minus 10%. Naturally, it seems unlikely that they will lose another 10% next year because the curve is flattening. The Performante is the oldest model displayed and prices stabilized during last year. The graph shows an increase of 1%, but this increase isn't statistically confirmed. That means that it can be the result of chance. All the other price changes are confirmed. And that brings us to the Aventadors. Over here we have the trends for the 700 and 740S. Data before 2024 is missing, but we have a good picture of the most recent development. The base model is up by 3.9%, and this increase is statistically confirmed. so it's unlikely that this is the result of chance. The Aventador S is approximately $75,000 more expensive and values are up by 2.8%. Yet, this change isn't confirmed. Supply in both markets isn't excessively high, so I decided to not include the split by body type as it introduces more noise.
Also, the SV, SVJ and Ultimate markets are small. And tracking the prices for these cars is quite difficult because the market characteristics changed a lot over time.
Starting off with the SVs, we can see a strong trend. Prices increased by 5.4% in the coupe market and by 7.9% in the roadster market. The roadster demand a premium, but the trend is similar. Also, SVJs are creeping up. Coupes are up by 5.6% and roadsters by 6.2%. Similar to the SV, the roadster demand a premium, but the price changes are in the same ballpark. Notice also the increase in the confidence interval for the coupe. That's because there's one extremely expensive coupe listed for sale. Moving on to the Ultimate, we can see that prices decreased. What the hell is going on here? The price is pushed down by a large change in the mileage on the cars that are for sale. For the roadsters it increased, for example, from 190 to 5,000 miles. This resulted in a drop of 9%. Coupes decreased by 7.9%.
Supply for these cars is quite low, and I don't think that many Ultimate owners added close to 5,000 miles to their cars.
If we look at the cars with similar miles, the average decline is minus 2.2%, slightly less dramatic.
The Countach is very hard to find, and for the Revuelto I don't have enough data yet, so that means that it's time to have a look at the Urus. Now, compared to the mid-engine models, the Urus is a completely different car, so it's no surprise that the price trends are also completely different.
The Urus held their ground for a long time, but started to depreciate after the pandemic price stop. Yet, as you can see, most model variants already passed their point of peak depreciation. Base models lost 8.8% during last year. For S models this is 8.6% and the Performante lost 7.6%. These rates are a lot lower than the 11 to 16% that we saw during 2024. Data for the latest SE model is still accumulating, so we need to wait a bit longer before we can derive the year-over-year price change.
So how did the Lamborghini market perform? Well, as you probably guessed by the video title, quite well, with exception of the Urus.
Over here we can see all the price changes we talked about. At the top we find the Starato and Urus variations. Forgetting about those for a moment, the Lamborghini market performed well. Base Gallardos, Ultimates and Technicas are down slightly, but other model variations displayed stable prices or minor increases. The Aventadors clearly performed the best, with increases between 2.5 and 6%. Unsurprisingly, the SVJs and SVs did the best.
So what does it mean if a market does well? It means that the market does well compared to the general market.
The average market decline was 2.4%, and most cars lost between 4.3 and 0%. On average, the Lamborghinis lost 0.4%, so this is better than the market average. The Urus clearly underperformed. It's then also a luxury SUV. The Gallardo underperformed slightly, and the Ultimate and Technica performed the same as the average. The Evo RWD, LP580, 610, LP560 and Performante are on the edge of outperforming the market. The remaining models clearly belong to the top 25% with the lowest depreciation rate, or in this case appreciation rate.
Now the big question is, of course, is this performance enough to outperform the Ferrari market? Let's have a look.
Over here we have now the mid-engine Ferrari models in red and the Lamborghinis in orange. The base Gallardo should probably be compared to the F430, and we can see that the Gallardos lost 5.2% and the F430s 1.3%, so I would consider that a win for the Ferraris. Let's now compare the LP560 to the 458. The LP560 is up by 0.8% and the 458 by 3.6%. The difference is slightly smaller, but I think that the 458 market is the stronger one over here. The price increase in that market is confirmed, while it's not confirmed in the LP560 market. Continuing with the Huracan LP580 and LP610, we can see that prices were basically flat in those markets. The F8s though lost on average 3.7%. If we zoom into those trends, we can see that the 488s are on a completely different price level, but also that the price trends are highly correlated. The 488 clearly declined more between 2023 and 2024. Recently though, that market strengthened a lot. The data though is updated till June, while the Huracan market is updated till August. The general car market is strengthening, so if I extrapolate the Ferrari data for the 488, I arrive at an increase of 3%. Therefore, I think it's fair to call this one a tie. The difference is so small that it can be the result of chance. The same applies for the comparison between the 488 and Evos. Moving on to the Technicas and the F8, we can see that both sit on the negative side of the scale. Technicas lost 1.5% and F8 Coupes 2.9%. Again, updating the Ferrari market with more recent data is likely to bring the two numbers closer to each other. The resulting difference is unlikely to be meaningful, so I would also call this a tie.
Now what do we compare the Aventadors to? A mid-engine model or a V12 Ferrari model?
Let's stay with the mid-engine models for now. Pricing-wise, the Aventador and Aventador S sit in the F8 territory, but age-wise a comparison to the 488 should be made. In this case, it doesn't matter so much because the Aventadors did slightly better from a depreciation perspective, so this one goes to Lamborghini. The SV and SVJs also did extremely well. They are the best performing Lamborghinis in the chart, but they fall short to the massive price surge in the 488 Pista market.
As you might have noticed, the 296s and SF90s are falling rapidly, but we need to wait a bit longer to see how the equivalent Lamborghini models will do. Let's wrap up.
We saw that Lamborghini prices are relatively strong. Most models performed as good or better than the market average, making them value-conscious choices. Yet, they didn't outperform the Ferrari market on all fronts. The older mid-engine Ferraris like the F430 and 488 did better than the Gallardos. The price trend in the Huracan and Technica markets though are similar to their Ferrari equivalents. Only the Aventador and Aventador S did better, but one can question what the appropriate Ferrari counterpart should be.
At the end of the day though, most differences are small and probably shouldn't steer you away from any of the models. Now this is the first Lamborghini market analysis on the channel, so there's of course still room for improvement. The Murcielagos are missing, for example. We didn't look at the manuals or at the special editions. Please let me know in the comments which other models or breakdowns you would like to see. If the market is popular, I'll update it every quarter similar to the Ferrari and Porsche market updates. And with that we arrived at the end of this video. Now if you enjoy this data-driven way of analyzing car prices but would like to see a video for a different car, head over to my channel. Over there you'll find data-driven market analysis for a large variety of cars. Can't find the car you're looking for? Let me know the name of that car by commenting it down below in the comment section. Once there are enough requests for a certain car, I'll make a video about it. As always, thank you for watching and I hope to see you again in 2 weeks for a fresh market update.